This episode of Love at First Like is sponsored by 1231. 1231 is the world's first premier vodka and white rum liquor. And yes, while it is deliciously smooth, today we are doing things a little differently. Now, I know y'all all know about liquid courage, but I want to talk about liquid encourage, without the liquid. Introducing Miss Velvet Berry Good Vibes. When you see this beautifully bubbly bottle, instead of taking a shot, we want you to shoot your shot in a friendly way. Say something kind about yourself or even someone you know. If you can, write some of these positive things down and share it in the comments, or DM us and we'll post it anonymously. Today, with the help of Miss Velvet Berry Good Vibes and our friends at 1231, we are bringing positivity back to the timeline. And you don't even have to be 21 plus to do it. But if you are 21 plus and choose to enjoy the velvety or silky smoothness that is 1231, please enjoy responsibly. As always, have fun, share a kind word, and enjoy this very special episode of Love at First Like. This episode of Love at First Like contains themes that may be triggering to some viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. If you or someone you know is in need of free and confidential support, we encourage you to explore the following resources. The majority of these hotlines are 24/7 and offer both online and by-the-phone services. Please do not be afraid to call. Previously, on Love at First Like, a surprise return re-energizes the competition.
I feel like I didn't give Hannah a fair shake, so I'd love to bring her back.
Oh.
Wow, look who it is.
After Thomas and the Click Baes had their first official group date, things got a little spicy.
Where's the riskiest place you've done it? I wet the bed when I was 21 years old. Yo, you're low-key dead to me, so I really want to know who said this.
And sadly, we had to say goodbye to two of our beautiful Click Baes.
I'd like to give my last like to Kenny.
Kara and Julia, your accounts have been deactivated and you are no longer eligible for spikes.
But how will things shake out for the remaining Click Baes? Don't miss even a second of the drama, laughs, excitement, and romance here on Love at First Like.
Knew you was in love at the first light. I knew you was down from the right way. Got you with the dimple in the small ways. Chocolate Mona Lisa, that's good taste. You see something that you want. Don't be shy about it, get you some. On a man that know what he want. Don't be shy about it, get you some. Tell me that I'm something beautiful. I want you to pull up and come through. I like when you say what you gon' do. Kiss and make it all on the right move. Tell me that I'm something beautiful. I want you to pull up and come through.
Welcome to Love at First Like, Slumber Party Edition. With our digital data out of the way, it is officially a girl's day. From love to relationships to vulnerability, we are tackling it all. So grab your comfiest PJs, your closest friends, and a most open mind. Today, we are loving ourselves out loud. Today, we are enough. I want to try something with you. I know you were all asked to bring 3 items. The first symbolizing how you feel about yourself. The second symbolizing how you want to be loved. And the third symbolizing what you wish to let go of. What are the 3 items that you brought and what do they mean to you? Margot, let's start with you.
So my first item that I brought was a keychain, or is a keychain that has a key that doesn't open a specific door, but it's a key and it has a lock on it. So what this symbolized to me is that it reads happy. Whew.
You got this.
Take your time.
I bought it. I was miserable. And I was in the store and I just saw it and I was like, you know what? Even through my pain, I am the key and I am the lock. So regardless of what I go through, my pain, it is for me. And there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, first, I have this old key. It's gross. Probably though, still. So this symbolizes me. I hold the key. I rarely ever give it out to somebody else to like open me up and get to know me. So when I really do give somebody the key, it's not often. And it's because I really trust somebody. And I can say with great confidence that I haven't given this key away to many people, especially men that I've been in love with. It's so hard to let people in and just give them the opportunity to either hurt you or heal you, and you don't know what's gonna happen. So I feel like I'm not closed off. I'm a very open person, but in order to really see me, I really need to trust somebody, and I hope for in the future that there's gonna be a guy that I can really trust enough to let see inside of me and my emotions. That hasn't happened yet. So as for now, I'm holding the key until somebody who is worthy can come and accept it. So that's me. I'm a door. This is my key.
My first trinket, if I can grab it, I bought a plant. A plant. So I have this plant for some time now. It's grown. It was in a smaller casing or a smaller jar. And I feel like that just symbolizes growth in life, always evolving. And if you know anything about plants, you guys know I'm a nerd. I study science, all life science, biology. If you know anything about a plant, if it is outgrowing its encasing, it will diminish other parts so that it can still continue to grow. And so I always, when it started growing, I had to put it in a different house so that it can grow to be a bigger and more durable plant. So that's me. I feel like I'm always evolving. Even if I'm in a space where I feel like I've outgrown, sometimes I do diminish some things about me, but instead of moving forward, but that's complacency. If you want to mirror some different things, sometimes you can fall short and be complacent, but I have always been somebody who wanted to always continue to grow. And if you look at this plant, it has waxy leaves. I am a hard heart. I'm pretty waxy. If you know about plants, you know that the waxiness, it kind of deflects the light so that it can hold on to its moisture. So I'm one of those people. I'm emotional, but I'm not going to really show you so much of my emotion. So I will not leak. I'm holding on to a lot of things. So I'm learning to be and let myself go a little bit more. But if I could just say that I'm this plant, I'm durable, I'm evolving, sometimes waxy, but still continuing to grow.
My first item is actually this necklace. So it's a little palm tree. It's like a little cute palm tree. And for the longest time, I wore this without any pendant. I just didn't know what I wanted, and that kind of represented my life. I didn't do that on purpose. It's just I was at this point in my life where like I didn't know what I wanted. I was just this person that was trying to please somebody and like make other people happy, and I felt like being my true self. Like I'm really goofy and weird in person. I like to be loud and do silly voices and stuff. Like that's just me. And then I would always just get like made fun of or looked at differently because of like the culture, and like they don't mean to judge, but there are some crude people in here, and you know how our family is. Like, you know, quickly, like, just quick to judge. And same with, like, my Asian culture. They're very soft-spoken and quiet. So I feel like that was me for a really long time. And one really close to me gave me this palm tree. And it was just at the right time in my life where I felt like, you know what, I'm ready to grow from this. I'm ready to grow. And they said something to me so important was, I'm like a palm tree. Like, in the rainstorm, the thunder, all you see that they get blown over, they crack, they break, they hit a house, and then they got to start again from the root. But a palm, they bend. They never. So even rut, or it seems like it's all going to heck in a hole. But when the storm is over, that tree bounces right back up, and that palm tree is ready to again produce some great coconuts and all that stuff. So I feel like that was really me. I hit such a low in high school. I suffered from depression and whatnot, just not knowing who myself was. So I feel like at that point I was that palm tree, bending, ready to break, and didn't know if I was going to make it. And it was just super emotional for me at that time. I'm comfortable to share this at this point, but I did contemplate suicide in grade 11. And sorry. Oh, sorry, I get emotional. It's so weird. Laughing is my mechanism.
We're here. Oh, let it out. It's healthy. This is good. It's okay.
Come on. Come on. MS, come on. Gorgeous. Come on, gorgeous.
So yeah, that was my rut. That was when I was like, I can't believe I even thought about taking my own life, and I can't believe like so many teens think about that, and some of them actually do take their own lives.
This little portrait that was painted in front of me in Paris. And when I went to Paris, I was going into my junior year in college. I was studying abroad. So I stayed there for about a month and a half. And I wasn't in a good place at all. I've struggled with depression my entire life and anxiety, or at least since the beginning of high school. And I don't know, I just went on this trip with knowing no one, and that was really out of my comfort zone because I'm just not someone who likes to be alone. And so I feel like my whole life I relied on other people to provide me a sense of comfort through what I was going through. And so on this trip, I remember like seeing this guy like painting these little portraits like right in front of me. And I like just remember sitting and looking around and being like, wow, like I wish that I had someone to be with right now. And then I like went through the rest of the trip, and I really just found like myself. I found like a love for myself that I had never found before. I was doing everything by myself and on my own. And by the time I got home and I saw the portrait that I ended up buying, I like kind of reflected and remembered thinking that like when I saw him painting it, and I finally felt like I got to a place where I could love myself and not have to have someone love me to validate who I was.
I actually brought a mirror. And to me, what I struggled with really hard with my relationship with my ex was I felt like I couldn't be my 100% my true self with him. I hid parts of my personality. After my relationship with him, I realized that the love I needed to receive is like someone who knows me 100%. Like I can't hide myself anymore, because it definitely, like I felt like I was just like a different person. I felt like I couldn't be myself. But the second part of this mirror is actually a zoomed in part. And this is kind of the part that's like more important. It's like the love that I want to receive from myself. I think that it's like really important to be honest with yourself.
So the next piece that I have is how I want to receive love. And this is that object. Looks a little rough on the outside. You don't know what you're gonna expect. Sometimes it may be ugly, but if you take the time, and if you're patient, and if you wait, and if you communicate, and if you are open,
It's pretty. So beautiful.
Okay now, Paula.
Check it out. Do a little shimmy.
Take your time. Can we give her some like spirit fingers? Can we just affirm her in this moment? Like, you got this. You got this.
you do not define a person by an action. I was told this year that I'm a bad person. It ruined me. But you know what? I'm not a bad person. I'm a beautiful person, and actions don't define you. And that's how I want to receive love, is to take the time to get to know someone and listen and ask questions. I feel like these days people don't ask enough questions because people define words in their own way. So how are you supposed to understand if you don't understand? Ask questions. I don't mean to get loud and vocal and aggressive here. It's just this really hits home. To you ladies and to the world, take the time, because you can see this, but everyone has this.
That sweet sound is the sound of the 1231 Truth Shot. When you hear that buzz, it's time to get buzzed and a little bit truthful. And what's a slumber party without a little truth juice? So gather your shot glasses and let's get these nerves out. And let's get right into this. Now that we've had time to listen and share and get a little cozy, I want to move into the next part of this experience. This week, we asked each of you to complete a survey. We've curated today's show with your responses in mind. But before we jump in, it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you to award-winning psychotherapist Rhonda Richards-Smith. A Bay Area native and graduate of USC and UCLA, Ms. Smith was named one of the 2018 Women of Influence by the LA Biz Journal. She is a phenomenal woman. With over 15 years of experience, Rhonda is passionate about helping others towards the path of self-love and healthy relationships. If you're fearful of losing the person you're dating, it's already over. Please welcome Rhonda Richards-Smith.
Hey everybody, so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I wanted to really come on and chat with you all today about healthy relationships and my philosophy. And my thought is that time and energy are two elements that are in limited supply in all of our lives. And it's incredibly important that we be intentional about how we spend our time and how we expend our energy when it comes to our relationships.
Okay, look up. Look down. Look to the side. Thomas is nowhere in sight. Today is all about you. No dates, no eliminations, just girl talk. We are breaking you up into two groups. In my group, the Bedtime Beauties, we will be diving deep into our personal experiences with love, relationships, and vulnerabilities.
And in my group, the Sleepy Sisters, we will also be talking about love, relationships, and vulnerabilities. But I'll be giving you some tips along the way to help you through.
Skin. I love my skin, but loving my skin did not come without first having to combat what I call skin insecurities. When I was about 9 or 10, I remember going into my bathroom with a giant jug of bleach. I remember for hours rubbing bleach on my arms and my legs and my face and scrubbing so hard, and for so long that literally my arms and legs would bleed. Healing is an ongoing process, and some days are definitely easier than others. But I can say that without a doubt in my mind, I am absolutely head over heels in love with my skin. I want to ask you all, what are some of the ways that you have learned to love the skin you are in?
So I have struggled with acne really bad. I had cystic acne, so So during my last year of uni, you know, I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel beautiful. I didn't feel so many things like, and that took me so much time to reverse to finally feel confident in who I was. But then also being a Black woman, there's always times till this day when you will stick out like a sore thumb in a room. It's your skin sticks to you. There's nothing that you can do to escape that. You know, you have to know who you are and be confident who you are beyond the color of your skin, but also inclusive of the color of your skin.
For me, growing up, especially being like as dark skinned as I was, and where I grew up was very, let's just say it was very white. In the media, I would never see anyone that looked like me, right? Like anyone that's like as dark as me or that even had my features. Like I would never see that.
I heard so many times, multiple over and over again, "You're so pretty for a dark-skinned girl. Oh my God, I've never seen such a pretty dark-skinned girl." Or just the factor of the opposite of, "Oh, I don't date Black women. Oh, I don't date dark-skinned women. They repulse me."
And then after a while, like at about, I want to say at around 16, like that's when I really started to like slowly start loving myself and also just doing a lot of internal work on myself. And then that's when I started to be a bit more accepting.
3 days ago, I posted a picture of like my cellulite. I was literally sitting with like, I just had it out because I just could not handle it anymore because people expect you to be perfect all the time.
You're imperfectly perfect. I grew up in the beauty world. I along with me being a science nerd, I'm a master cosmetologist. So that was something that I had to always do, like my hair had to be done, my makeup had to be done when I went into work, regardless. So what I literally did was I came to work in the most naked form possible, and I just dared. I was like, I dare you to say something to me as if my beauty, my natural beauty isn't enough.
When Kenny spoke about going to her workplace with no makeup and just braids, that was powerful. Like she owned it, and she didn't come across like fronting, like, "Oh my gosh, I just really feel good about myself at all times." She was so honest, and I think I love that, and I really appreciate the fact that we're opening up to each other. And this show is not just it's not a competition at all. It's actually a sisterhood.
I can't be sexy. I'm too cute because I'm Asian. Hearing that, how did that make you feel?
That just makes me really upset. Because it's not true, and I don't know where this came from. I guess I have no idea, but I've experienced that so much of like, "Oh, why are you trying to be sexy? Like, you can't do that, or that's not you. You're not allowed to do that." And it's like, no, why can't we? You know, it's just I still can't wrap my head around it. And at some point, I was like, yeah, you know what, I can't. So I stayed trying to be cute, but then I was like, what the heck? Why can't I be sexy? Why can't I go out and do a sexy photo shoot? Why can she and I can't?
Okay, I hope I didn't offend anyone when I said that, but I was just speaking from my experience on the Asians can't be sexy, like you're just cute. It's just some experience, my own personal experience, my friend's experience. Like I went to high school with like 90% Asian, whether it's Indian, West Indian, and like Korean, Chinese. And that's honestly what I've experienced, my friends have experienced, and we've all talked about it.
So I wanted to start with fear. And I want to talk a little bit about how that can really impact your relationships and hear from you guys. How do you feel fear has impacted your love life?
My biggest fear, I mean, if I can just be 100%, relationships in my family have not been the best things. I guess one of my fears, and also making sure that I am 100% with myself, is making sure I don't end up like, you know, the generations before me that did not have successful marriages.
Fear can sometimes be a double-edged sword. Some fear is natural and it's normal in any given situation, but also sometimes fear, if we focus too much of our time and energy on that fear, it can become a self-fulfilling prophecy.
I don't have a problem like getting deep with people and talking with people, but I would say that there is like a huge fear going into relationships that they're just gonna leave.
Because obviously you want to guard your heart in any situation, right? You don't just want to just lend your heart out to everyone. But at the same time, when we're really fearful in our interactions with the people that we're dating, oftentimes it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. So if we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, 9 times out of 10, the shoe is going to drop, just because that's where we're harnessing a lot of our focus and our energy is on that fear. Vulnerability is the absolute key to a sustained, long, healthy relationship. You have to have vulnerability.
I don't know
how to be vulnerable without feeling rejected.
For me, I'm scared to be given up on. That is my biggest fear. And I'm scared of being given up on because communication and the lack of patience someone's willing to understand and get to know you.
If I'm already thinking, I don't want to take this any further, if it's not going to go somewhere, if we won't be together in a year, if that's where your brain is at when you're communicating what it is that you want, oftentimes you're like fast forwarding to the end.
I'm not the most vulnerable person, and I think that's a flaw of mine, because when I do go into relationships, like Hannah said, she fears of getting left. I was taught to learn how to stop loving when it's not something healthy. I really do love myself more than I could love anybody else, so it makes it hard for me to be vulnerable with someone. My sister told me last week that I am like a wall, that I don't have any emotions, and that I'm not empathetic. I hurt my feelings because I thought I was empathetic, that I am emotional. But she says men have made you very cold and not empathetic with your emotions. So I think that's definitely something that I need to work on.
It's a natural instinct to be protective of yourself and to be protective of your emotions. But what I will say, speaking on the topic of vulnerability is something that you have to embrace if you do want to pursue being in a relationship with somebody. If you're not vulnerable, the reality is you can never truly let the wall down, and the person that you're with will never really get to know who you are.
I got really vulnerable and I did cry. And for me, I'm not really a crier. I'm not really emotional. And I got very vulnerable, and my walls have started to come down.
I want to get all the way into this because the boys want to know. Does size matter? Like, do we all want Eiffel Towers? Or are we okay with some Taj Mahals?
I do not discriminate. Honestly, sometimes it's better with a little Taj Mahal than with an Eiffel Tower. It's not even about the size, it's about how they do things.
And I think it's like mean to like say that, oh my gosh, like you have to have XYZ. It's like setting requirements. I think it's mean because somebody's born with that.
Maybe I would tend more to the Eiffel Tower than the Taj Mahal. But you know what? Like it's another thing. Like you don't want to judge so much because it also depends on the chemistry and how that person, you know, if they spend that time to get to know you and get to know what it is that you like and what works for you, which a lot of guys don't do. So
it's okay to have a preference. Yes, I'm gonna say it. I like taller guys, but does that mean I'm gonna say like limit out just because they're short? It's like absolutely not. I'd still try. You know, when it comes to preferences, I think that is okay. You know, I know that's okay, but it is a little scary to talk about.
Everyone's entitled to preference, but it's also good to know that it's a person-to-person experience. So I might have to get some Taj Mahals. Might have to. First, I want to thank you all for being here and being in this moment together. We've discussed a lot of painful things. We've opened up a lot of tough conversations, and I felt the reception in this room. As I'm looking before me, I see a panel of beautiful and incredible women that are doing amazing things. And I'm genuinely so happy to be in this room right now. And I want to continue the work that we are doing by engaging in just one more exercise. I know that in the beginning, you were all asked to bring a plain piece of paper and something to write with. On that paper, we asked that you put the things you wanted to release, you wanted to let go of, from your insecurities, to your doubts, to your hurt, to your pain, the things that have held you back. Now that you've done that, now that you've taken that time to do that, I want you to hold it up with the things that have held you back, the things that have hurt you facing you. I want you to hold it up to the camera. I want you to remember this moment. I want you to remember the things that you felt as you had to materialize and think of those emotions that hurt, those feelings, and put that pen to paper. I want you to think of all the things that you've heard that have made you feel small, that have made you feel low, that have made you feel like you are not enough. I want you to remember that. I want you to think about that. And on the count of 3, we are going to release all of that. On the count of 3, we are going to take those things that have held us back and we're going to tear it up. On the count of 3, get ready. Make sure that you have your hands primed and ready because we are destroying that. We are knocking down those boundaries. We are reclaiming our space, our agency. We are remembering that we are enough. We are all that we need. Everything that we need is in us. So on the count of 3, let's tear it up. Okay? 1, 2, 3. Shreds. And don't be afraid, guys. Become like human paper shredders. Tear it up. Let that go. That does not define you. That is not the beginning nor the end of your story. You are so much greater than the things that have held you back. You are just beginning. This is just the first step on an incredible journey. The first official Love at First Like slumber party has come to an end. And like the best slumber parties, tears were shed, juice was spilled, penises were discussed, and a lot of love was shared. Today, I felt like I was enough. And for anyone that was tuned in, I hope you feel the same. From our beautiful Click Baes to our amazing Love at First Like team, to the incredible people watching right now, you are enough. You will always be enough. Today, tomorrow, the next day after that, love yourself out loud and in color. You are everything. You are enough. I am your host, Io Abigail. Have an incredible night.
On Love at First Like.
Our 14 beautiful Click Baes we put to the test. So ladies, to be or not to be.
Okay, this means war.
This is where it gets a little interesting.
What? What are you guys talking about? You knew? You knew and you didn't tell me?
Shy, but I get you some. On a man, I know what he want. Don't be shy, but I get you some. Tell me that I'm something beautiful. I want you to pull up and come through. I like when you say what you gon' do. It's to make it all on the right move. Tell me that I'm something beautiful. I want you to pull up and come through. I like when you say what you gon' do. It's to make it all on the right moves. It's to make it all on the right moves. It's to make it all of the right moves. Now that we both got time, let's keep an open mind. These feelings, they ain't a crime. Just don't fuck it up. Now that we both got time, let's keep an open mind. I let you cross the line. Just don't fuck it up. You see